Well, now that we know what we have to do in case we need to perform an operation with a negative number in case of multiplication or division, let's solve these two exercises to go further. Let's begin with this inequality. This inequality is telling you that 48 is less than or equal to 16 times the number. So the same thing we did when we were solving equations, we're going to do here. Okay? So in order to isolate this letter F, we understand that it's being multiplied by a 16, so we are going to divide by 16 on both sides. What does that do? I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to keep the same inequality, nothing changes, and 48 divided by 16 is 3. You can see this inequality and understand it and interpret that 3 is less than or equal to any number. I can also swap it to make, because usually we see the variable on the left side of the inequality. Remember something, the open part of the inequality is facing towards the variable, and the point, right, the pointy part is facing number 3. So I can also write it this way, okay, that any number is greater than or equal to 3. If I want to graph that, I just have to use the reference number 3 right here, and the solution includes number 3, so I draw the dot, and the arrow is going to point at the right of 3, and this is the graph of the solution. This is the solution in algebraic form. Now let's see what happens with this second exercise. What we have is, and you can interpret in different ways, this is the way I like to do it, but if you feel comfortable with others, it's going to be okay as long as you are consistent with the answer anyway. So we have negative 4/5 is multiplying this number x. You could decide to go right away and do, since this negative 4/5 is multiplying the variable, you could just do division by this number on both sides and you'll do good. But I like to think about this way. I can see a negative 4 multiplying the variable, and I can see a 5 dividing the variable. So I'm going to do it in 2 steps instead of just one, because what I'm going to do is, first thing is, let's multiply this by 5, because I'm going to reverse the process of division by 5. Okay? When you do that, remember our goal is basically cancel out these numbers 5, which leads me to get a negative 4x. Remember, I just did a multiplication by a positive number, which means that this symbol continues being a greater than or equal to, right? And negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. I don't have to worry about whether this is going to be a negative result. What I did was multiplying by a positive number, so the symbol doesn't change yet. But now look, we have a negative 4 multiplying the variable, and I want to get rid of it because I want to finish the process of isolating the variable, solving for x. So I know that I have to divide, and this time I'm dividing by a negative number. When that happens, I know that I will have to flip the orientation of the symbol. In this case, we already know these ones are canceled out and I get an x right here. But now this time we are going to change the orientation of the inequality to a less than or equal to instead of a greater than or equal to. Negative and negative, well, that leads to a positive answer. This is going to be 5/2, or if you want to do it as a decimal, like a 2.5. Now, if you want to graph this, let's use red this time. If you want to graph that, your reference will be the number 2.5. So if this is 2, this is 3, so I'm going to be standing here. Okay, so the solution is all the numbers that are less than or equal to 2.5. It means all the numbers to the left. So do I include it? Yes, so it means I have the dot, and the arrow is going to point at the left side. And we're good.